Business Now from Stephen here on set. Starting off in Germany, aren't you, Stephen? This strike by pilots at Lufthansa.
Some 900 short and long-haul flights have been cancelled as a result of the walkout. The strike extended until Thursday evening after a Frankfurt Labour Court rejected an application by the airline to block the industrial action. It's the 14th time that pilots have taken industrial action in their years-long dispute over pay. Alison Sargent has the details.
Another day of travel chaos for Lufthansa passengers. News of cancellations greeted roughly a third of the airline's ticket holders Wednesday after pilots vowed to remain grounded for 48 hours.
There are too many strikes at Lufthansa recently. It's pretty annoying.
Sure, the pilots need to have a certain income. I do understand that, but it's the passengers who suffer.
It's the pilots' 14th walkout in just 2.5 years, the latest protest in an ongoing dispute over pay and working conditions. They're demanding an average yearly pay raise of 3.7%, retroactive for the past 5 years. Lufthansa made a last-minute legal bid to prevent the strike, but their appeal was rejected by a German labor judge late Tuesday. This strike comes the day after Lufthansa's budget airline Eurowings staged a 15-hour strike, causing the cancellation of more than 60 flights at airports in Hamburg and Dusseldorf.
The strike is taking place because our colleagues have not received a pay rise in 8 years. That's why we're demanding improved benefits and a salary increase of 7% for Eurowings cabin crew.
Airline staff say they've seen their wages frozen while the airline has made billions of euros in profits. According to Lufthansa's chief executive, each day of striking will cost the company roughly 8 million euros.
Taking you to South Korea now, the ongoing controversy surrounding President Park has engulfed the country's biggest economy there.
Prosecutors raided offices of the Samsung Group in Seoul, as well as the state pension fund, as part of their corruption investigation. The allegations of paying for influence centre on President Park's friend Choi Soon-sil, who, along with 2 advisors, has been charged with interfering with state affairs. Well, for more on this, let's go to Seoul and speak to our correspondent there, Andrew Salmon. Andrew, thank you for joining us. What do we know about these raids, and what does Samsung have to do with it?
Sorry, could you say again?
What do we know about these raids that happened today, and what connection does Samsung have?
Well, not a great deal. The information that's come out thus far is that Samsung, which carried out a rather controversial M&A between 2 of its affiliates early this morning, is alleged to, earlier this year, is alleged to have made sure this merger went ahead by bribing Choi Soon-sil, who of course is the now infamous confidant of President Park Geun-hye. That at least is the allegation. We don't know any more yet, but again, this would not be terribly surprising. The allegations in this presidential scandal right now are swirling all over the place, getting allegations of everything from a Samsung involvement to the purchase of hundreds of Viagra pills by officials of the presidential team. So right now, pretty much anything is possible.
As you say, this has become a very wide-ranging investigation, lots of different people and organisations involved. Is there a sense that there's an element of phishing involved in these allegations as well, that they're simply going after any connection?
I think right now this whole scandal has really been driven by the media rather than by the political sector, which is often the case. So I think the media are now competing to find any stories they can, and pretty much anything that anyone has got against President Park Geun-hye and this infamous confidant of hers, Choi Soon-sil, these people are all now coming out of the woodwork and making allegations. So the prosecutors are looking everywhere and anywhere.
And where does this leave President Park in all of this?
President Park is in very, very big trouble. She's virtually barricaded inside her residence, the Blue House. They're expected to be the biggest demonstrations yet. Millions plus of people in central Seoul this Saturday. So she's under enormous pressure. There are impeachment procedures underway in the National Assembly, although it's unclear if the 2/3 majority of Assembly members will actually vote on this. But yeah, definitely the public has spoken. The prosecutions are probing her. Politicians are preparing impeachment. So she's under fire on all fronts.
OK, Andrew Salmon, correspondent in Seoul, will be monitoring that story as it develops.
Now then, after Donald Trump said he'd abandoned the major Pacific Rim trade deal, China has been stepping up its efforts.
President Xi Jinping was in Chile on Tuesday, signing a host of new cooperation deals. Two countries have had a free trade agreement in place for 10 years. China is now Chile's biggest trading partner. South American country is also a major exporter of copper and salmon. With the United States set to pull back on trade with its southern neighbours, President Xi says that China is ready to do more.
We agree that as important members of the large Asia-Pacific family, China and Chile should carry on the efforts of the APEC summits of recent years, so as to push for the development of a free trade zone for the Asia-Pacific, to build an open world economy and to make greater contributions to the stability and prosperity of our world.
Let's take a look at what's happening on the markets next for you. We had another record finish on Wall Street on Tuesday. European shares generally starting the day in positive territory, although not much strength in the markets to be seen. Mining companies are leading the gains. Many banks trading down, though, at the beginning of trading in Europe. Over in Asia, a bit more of a mixed picture. We had falls in Shanghai and on the Hang Seng. In Hong Kong, the Kospi and Seoul just seeing some small gains, while the Nikkei in Tokyo is closed for a public holiday.
In the UK, Finance Minister there is presenting his first budget update since the country voted to leave the European Union today.
Philip Hammond will be giving his priorities for tax and spending as uncertainty hangs heavy over the British economy. Now, we've yet to see any major blows to the UK economy since the Brexit vote, as the drop in sterling has actually boosted many businesses. Among other measures, Mr Hammond is expected to announce more than €1 billion in new spending on roads and on housing, as well as an increase in the minimum wage. But he's also expected to revise down growth forecasts for the coming years as the UK negotiates to exit the European Union. Some more of today's business headlines for you now. Facebook has been developing special software to allow it to censor certain information from Chinese users. The New York Times reports the social network created the feature to help it gain access to the Chinese market. The company says it's spending time learning about China and has made no decisions on entering the country. The US government has approved the sale of more than 100 new Airbus planes to Iran. The export license gives the go-ahead for the European aerospace giant to deliver $20 billion worth of jets to Iran Air. It was given permission to deliver the first 17 aircraft ordered back in September. 3 Australian staff of the Crown Resorts casinos have been arrested in China on gambling-related offences. Crown operates casinos in the Chinese gambling enclave of Macau. 18 staff have been held in raids last October on suspicion of organising overseas gambling for Chinese nationals.
And finally from Stephen, a French company has found itself in trouble. This is over a fake press release.
Shares in the construction firm Vinci fell by almost 20% after a statement, apparently from the company, claimed it had sacked its financial chief and was investigating accounting irregularities. Now, 24 minutes later, that statement was issued on Tuesday afternoon. The company issued a genuine statement saying the previous press release was a hoax. Its share price recovered to close down 3% at the end of the day. It's opened 3% higher in trading this Wednesday. Vinci says it's investigating taking legal action over the issue. But as the FT's Alphabet blog points out, it wasn't the best written fake statement. It confused millions with billions and even seemed unclear about what year it was.
Oh dear, that's a little bit of a giveaway, I would say. Stephen, by the way, you're sacked, but you'll be reinstated before the next bulletin.
Oh, good.
Okay, so if you can come back. Yeah. Not a hoax. Don't worry, you can stay.